Hello world. So today is, so I'm going to wait till I'm out of my store because that's actually how I roll. Welcome back to day 4 of Tara Sue Moore, from stockbroker to firewalker. Find it, feel it, free it. And I'm hoping most of you can hear me, because I definitely have not had a moment to check sound or anything like that today. And because I made my commitment to me being committing to some sort of a schedule of going live and talking, whether I have a plan or not, that I'm currently able to follow, that's what I'm sticking with. So I've had some really lovely customers in today, Valentine's Day. So one person, beautiful thoughts, beautiful words, really a beautiful person. We just had a conversation on how differently we perceive. She's very visual, sees everything in color, and sees the color of everyone's energy body, always, which is very interesting and cool. So different from how I see it. I have a knowing about it, and I see energy very, very clearly, and I see the quality of energy, but for me, there's no color. And I actually often find colors to be a little overwhelming. And I've had to learn to work with and accept that level of visual overwhelm and not shut it down, and learn to take pleasure from it. And again, when I'm in a very coherent, calm, collected place, I love letting myself just be taken away by fascinating visual artwork. The artwork that creates a feeling and creates a movement, I love it. And yet I can only release myself to it when I am very coherent. Had another lovely gentleman in. Again, certainly everyone's very involved in some manner with either the protests going on here or concerns of what's going on. He's probably more feeling, certainly a distrust of our leadership and our government. And at the current moment, it's hard to feel able to trust. He's already created a number of stories of what's going to happen, with none of it being positive, none of it creating a new way of living in this world. And so we're doing, a little not great visuals today, but I'm actually sitting here recording, if you can see, with around me. So there is my idyllic space, as best you can see it, a picture of it. And then we have a very wintry path. And then we have a beautiful golden picture with 2 different paths that both get you to the same place. Then we have another forest scene with a path. That one happens to work very well for me. A more jungly feeling with a path. And a really lovely pink path. We have a more magical, mystical path. All different paths. And on any given day, if I had a whole bunch of you here, I bet we would all pick different paths that would be pulling us to follow. And to try and decide what's the right path and what's the wrong path on any sort of logic doesn't really make any sense when I'm talking about paths that are simply tapestries hanging on something. But I think that's the exact same logic of us trying to come up with a perfect path going forward for everyone without creating some sort of a connected feeling of what we want that path to lead us to. Because the path might not matter. In fact, there's probably going to be an awful lot of choices. It's co-creating collectively. And I don't think we can do that out of bodies that are disconnected. And I don't think we can do that by deciding just with one power center within the body, or one power center within the family, or one power center within the community, or one power center within a country, or one power center within a globe. I do believe that power and use of it is exponential, and I believe that if we are able to combine the power and exponentially access it. I think there is enough for all on this planet, and I don't think we need to continue to live in the cycles that I actually believe humanity has been living in for, at a minimum, hundreds of years, probably a lot longer. And that's the cycle that there is not enough. And so you have to climb to the top of the heap, and that's your goal. And that it is actually your job to climb to the top of the heap, no matter what humanity or what life you need to step over or push down in order to be at the top of the heap. And that for me is not enlightenment. So that's how my day's gone. Not sure there's going to be anything nearly as wise or collected or coherent. I am noticing how hard it is for me to stay coherent when I'm dealing with multiple competing goals and I don't have the control over the timelines. So I'm going to choose to pat myself on the back for still getting here live, even though, as you could see, I was still putting the sign up to close the store. I'm going to say thank you to anyone popping on to listen. And again, let's do a little more coherence, because I can feel the stress that came up in my body and just trying to get to this broadcast. And I want to be able to feel it, and I want to acknowledge it, and then I want to complete the cycle after feeling it and own that that is something that causes me probably more stress than is optimal. And then what I want to actually do is I want to breathe that stress into my body and create a complete circuit, so that instead of it spinning here and being kind of this stress that has nowhere to go, if you will, picture a live circuit that's kind of flying all around, not attached to anything, as opposed to a live circuit with the energy flowing through it in a full connected loop. One's beautiful and safe, the other one's rather dangerous. Okay, so again, if everyone will join me, today I'm not going for freedom, because I know in my body I'm not going to be able to feel it. For me, freedom comes out of feeling grounded, solid, deep in myself. And once I'm in that place, then from there, compassion and care will always come out. And then from there, I start to feel an amazing, peaceful freedom. And I access this place of all possibilities, where anything is possible. It's the most beautiful, light feeling. It's so different from any of the feelings I remember from growing up. And the only way that I've ever experienced being able to access it, especially when I'm close to other humans, is through the meditative practices that I work with. I also access it sometimes when I'm able to go out in nature by myself, but still feeling safe, because I don't have a lot of natural skills. So if I put myself in fear that I'm conquering something, that's a whole different experiment. So for anyone breathing with me now, find it, feel it, free it. If you're able to feel freedom in a coherent way, so your mind, your body, and your heart are all feeling the same way, please radiate freedom. For anyone who's not, let's just radiate for connection. So heart-focused breathing to connect, breathing in, breath going through the heart, breathing in and then out, with your out breath being a little slower and deeper than normal. Trust me, people, if you start doing this, no matter what, you will notice changes in how you are showing up. In, breathing with me, and out. In, and out. And again, a breath in, and a breath in, we'll see where we go. I will continue to try to get into the pattern that I'm trying to get into. I only have a few more days of trying to run a store at the same time. Then it'll be trying to move a store and move stuff. Made arrangements with a storage bin today, made sure there was room at the storage bin. But still, that will put me more in control, because I won't still be running a business where, by the mandate of the business, I have made myself available to the public at the public's discretion and will. And that's a part of what goes with running a store. So if that's not something that supports me, then running a store is not the ideal job for me. Okay, so I'm feeling like I'm going to sign off here, and hopefully I'm a little more enlightened at 5. I'll see anyone back at that time. And again, for those of you who are thinking you're going to want to continue to in any manner follow what I'm doing, please find on Facebook the Crystal Cavern. If you're on my personal friend list, I sent you an invite already. I'll send the invites to everyone who follows Spirit of Oneness also over the next few days. That's where I will continue broadcasting everything. And I will start to focus the streams to other places based on what I'm doing with them as this campaign sorts out over the next couple of weeks. I am a pretty big believer that there are some amazing possibilities for magical change open to the world right now from a bit of an astrological point of view. This isn't my area of expertise to talk about. I know some about it. I have probably a high-level generalist knowledge, but others have made it their life work. I am a bit of a believer that between February 2nd and February 22nd, we are in quite a potential window for change. The timing of the convoy deciding to do the sit-in in Ottawa just happens to match that window. So to anyone who decided, oh, I want to see this, but I'll do it later, if you're able to just make the choice to try doing it now instead of later, it might be worth trying. Hope to see some more of you back in 2 hours. And thanks for listening. Find it, feel it, free it. Find your feeling of freedom. Feel coherently how freedom feels in your body and free it. So that involves knowing what freedom is, and that involves teaching your body how to be coherent.